everyone, it's me Teddy again. We are just going to be going over some more of the programming assignments that have been scheduled for my class. This one will be Module 6. In this one, we are demonstrating the properties of generics, such as generic data containers, and we've been tasked with creating a generic demo app to interact with these generic containers. So in this program, we were tasked with picking a show or something that we liked. For me, I will be choosing Dragon Ball Daima. It's a show that is very near and dear to my heart. It just recently ended on Netflix, so if I do sound a little sad in my voice, that's why. Because I loved it. It was great. That being said, basically what we're gonna do is hopefully the output of this will be just listing it in certain ways, because we do have an array here. We're going to be sorting it in various different ways. Sometimes it may sort it by who appeared first, and what episode for the classes we've chosen, characters, episodes, and locations. So those will be our three classes. So they'll sort them by those things, whether it be ABC order, or what episode they appeared first in, or based off of sorting of the location. These are just examples that the professor provided to us, but I felt like these fit very well to Dragon Ball, to give any character bio towards the new forms and new content that happens in Dragon Ball. Anyways, before we get started with the output and showing you, we're just going to go over some of the codes, starting with the generic array. So this is the code array here. As you can see, we have it array, so it would be set to sort. As you can see here, sorts by numbers in certain number arrays. We also did it, in terms of ABC order. As you can see, apple, banana, cherry, date, A, B, C, D. So it filters in that order. And then we also put in, filters in for any double digits. Because in Dragon Ball, when you're talking about characters, you're talking about power levels possibly, and some of those power levels, they don't always fit into flat numbers. Point example, not that anybody necessarily cares, but Goku's power can reach I think it was 2.05 vectillion. So in order to be able to incorporate and sort based off of those point whatever numbers, we also have a double array here to be able to accommodate that. Alright, next we're going to go over our three classes. Like I said before, those classes here are our character. As you can see, it's private because we do not want this information to change. These characters that they pull, as you can see, they pull their name, their race, their power level. So these are the things that we will be seeing later on in it. And then again down here, this is how it should display. This is our toString here, as is required per the assignment. We have our getters and our setters here: get name, set race, set race for characters. Because everybody knows that Goku is a Saiyan. Everybody who is a fan of Dragon Ball knows that Piccolo is Namekian, right? So in order for this container to be able to pull and store that information, we need to be able to set those information. So we get it from the database, which is, the Dragon Ball Fandom Wiki. Then we set it so that the program knows that this is what that is when it goes to reach and pull it out and interact with it later. Next, we're going to go over to our episodes here. And as you can see here, we've got our, get set titles for them, get episode numbers, set episode numbers so it can pull that information in. And here is the toString for the episode. This keeps track of the episode's information. That way, the generic container in which it's stored can pull that information when it gets arrayed. And then finally, our final class that we were tasked with requiring was location, because Dragon Ball takes place in many different areas. Point example, one saga takes place on planet Namek. One saga for Dragon Ball takes place in, planet Earth. If you want to be hyper specific about it, since we're talking Dragon Ball Daima, they go to the Demon World, which is actually where Piccolo's family comes from, not planet Namek, originally. But I digress. So since those are important, I did want to include those in there because cosmology kind of plays a bit of an important part in Dragon Ball, and understanding like how it scales once you get to, anime like Dragon Ball Super, which introduces the gods and stuff like that, which is like way above like the mortal plane, and it gets vastly bigger from there. But to keep it simple, we have it to planet, region, and then whether or not it's inhabited or not. So these are information that the array, when we pull the information, it should show. Finally here, as you can see, we have the generic container itself. This is where it pulls all that information or stores it. And here is the demo in which we run it. As you can see here, we have some information that is hard set in. Goku is a Saiyan, Vegeta is a Saiyan. Because there are some nuances to Dragon Ball when you get to say like Goku's kids, Gohan, Goten, Vegeta's kid Trunks, as an example. They become half human, half Saiyan. That can kind of mess with the programming if it's trying to pull that information in. It doesn't exactly quite know what that means. It could give you an invalid response. So we want to hard code the answers in here in this case alone. It'd be more applicable if I used Gohan, because technically if I ask two different competing systems if they thought Gohan was a Saiyan, one might say yes because it reads that it's a half Saiyan. One might say no because they only understand and register the fact that Gohan is part human. So it registers him completely as human, wiping out, his Saiyanness. We don't want that. So we put it in there. We put in, also some hard numbers for their power levels. I did have to use exponents because, like I said, Goku's power level, vectillions. That's past gazillion. It's out there. I think I was looking it up and it was like 10 to the 26th power or something like that. Something crazy for his power levels. Same with Vegeta. Generally, they're like neck and neck. No one really has to true up on each other. And Piccolo, since Piccolo is still pretty strong in his own right, he's still a very skilled fighter. He does have a pretty high power level because he's constantly training. In his case, he has 1.64 vectillion. We have set that information in here. This is just some information that's going to print out. It's going to print out the character. It's going to print out their size. It's going to sort them by their power level. It's going to remove one of the random characters, or one of the characters, so that should be missing once we array it. As you can see here, it shows you some of the episodes in which they appear and a little bit of information, some of the rating it may have received. These are the lists of the episodes, This is the system out print for the episode numbers. Obviously, this is print information regarding the location, as I mentioned before. Earth is Earth, West City. That's where currently Vegeta resides because he lives with Bulma at the Capsule Corp. It shows that it's inhabited by showing that it's true. This is information that's pulling in. But if the code runs properly, like I had said before, it should run all this information and do these sorts. So it's going to sort them first by power level. Then we should see a removal of one of them. Then we should see their episodes and it sort by episode number. And then finally, we should see them show the locations and then sort by those locations. Let's go ahead and run the code here. Okay, and let's go ahead and scroll up. As we can see here, we did get an output, so the code did run properly. But let's just go over it to make sure that the information is proper. Okay, so it does first list the characters. We got Goku here, we got his race, and we got his power level. Haven't found a way to work out the exponent through command line interface, but any mathematician, when you put the E there, their brain auto will, sort that in as an exponent, or to do the scientific method there. Just showing them how many zeros is essentially following that number there. In this case, it is 63 for all three of the characters. Next, you can see here, clearly, it is sorted by power level. Then after it's removed a character, looks like it removed the hero of the Dragon Ball series, period. It took out Goku. Next, it shows you some episode titles. It shows you what number it is. It shows you the rating of it, as we mentioned before. Now, it sorts the titles. As you can see here, the beginning of the journey, in our cases, is already sorted, so it kind of resorts it back in that way. Finally, it shows you some locations here. Earth, West City, it's inhabited. Planet Vegeta. Planet Vegeta's no more since Frieza blew it up. They don't really say a region it's in. We just say it's Planet Vegeta and that, Frieza blew it up. So, it is not inhabited. So, that's why we put inhabited false. The Demon Realm, since we go there in Daima and there's a thriving world behind there, it is the dark region, and it is in fact inhabited. Okay, so it's technically not a planet name, but I did include it as a plane of existence in the Dragon Ball. That kind of opened it up to planet in that sense. So it sorts here, as you can see, D comes before E, so Demon Realm came before Earth, and then finally Planet Vegeta because E comes before P. And since it did do all those proper sorting and the code did finish properly, it exited with a code 0. Yeah, so that was my assignment for Module 6, and this is my generics demo app. Thank you. Bye.